And welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your most amazing host, Rebecca Felgate, and I noticed that you guys loved our video about the top 10 things that would happen when the Queen of England dies. Of course, this is something that nobody wants to happen soon, but again, of course she's getting older and it's interesting to know what plans are in place. As a result of the success of that video, we thought that we would bring you a top 10 on what would happen if and when Donald Trump dies. Now you've got to bear in mind that the chain of reaction would vary dramatically depending on whether or not he was in office when this happens. Now this has been the case for 8 other presidents in the past, so it's not beyond the realm of possibility. First off, let's talk about a few things unrelated to this powerful man's presidency. Coming in at number 10, we have the Trump Organization will be passed on to a new owner. Donald Trump ran the Trump Organization from 1971 to 2017. Prior to his presidency, he was first and foremost known for his business holdings. When he became president, he delegated power to his 2 oldest sons, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump. He also gave power to his longtime CFO, Alan Weisselberg. If Donald Trump died during his presidency, the company is currently set up to run without him. However, he is still the business owner. If Trump died sometime after his presidency finished, then there may need to be some restructuring. Whatever happens, the company is likely to be kept in the family and taken over by his sons and their children thereafter. Coming in at number 9, the will would need to be organized. Alongside the Trump Organization, which includes hotels, skate rinks, golf courses, and a winery, Donald Trump is the owner of many saleable assets. His net worth is an estimated $3.1 billion as of February 2018. Now this makes him one of the richest businessmen alive. As and when Donald Trump dies, those named in his will, so presumably his children and his wife, are set to inherit a fortune. So next we're going to talk about a few things that would happen if he died in office, which hopefully won't happen because that would be very disruptive for the United States. Coming into number 8, we have a theoretical post-assassination scenario. If the president was assassinated after officially being declared dead, his body would be flown in Air Force One to Washington for an official autopsy. This caused chaos during President Kennedy's death because at the time, Texas state law demanded that the autopsy be performed in the state of death. Meanwhile, if the perpetrator wasn't captured, there would be a nationwide manhunt as they were brought to justice. As a result of assassination, Trump would become the 5th sitting president to be murdered while in office, which really isn't a title that anybody wants. If Trump was assassinated, at number 7, government officials would be transferred to high security facilities for the time being. As chaos ensued, senior government officials, so basically the leader of Congress, the Supreme Court, and the cabinet, would be transported to local secure government facilities. Vice President Mike Pence would be moved to a secret location where he would be able to make his next steps, which brings me to the next point. If Trump died whilst in office, number 6 would need to happen immediately, and that is a new president would be sworn in. Mike Pence would immediately be called on to take up the presidency, as is customary when presidents in office die. When JFK was assassinated, Lyndon B. Johnson was sworn in just 2 hours and 8 minutes after the death of the 35th president. Again, regardless of whether or not President Trump was assassinated if he died in office, number 5 would happen. That is, the United States would observe national mourning. Flags would be flown at half-mast around the country, and beyond that, United States flags would be flown at half-mast wherever they were flown in the world. In the 1800s, the White House was draped in black fabric to mark the death of President Garfield. While this hasn't happened in a long time, it would not be beyond the realm of possibility. The scale of our next point would totally depend on the circumstances surrounding the death of Donald Trump and whether or not he was in office, or indeed how soon after his presidency ended that he died. But at number 4, we have the news would make international headlines. If the president was assassinated in the modern day, it would cause an absolute internet meltdown. All news outlets and social media users would be rushing to share the news. An American presidential death is among one of the most dramatic and politically impactful events that can happen, so all news sources would cover the events for days. If Trump died outside of office, it would still make headlines, but the story may not be, for want of a better journalistic term, as juicy. Trump is already in his 70s, so his death is statistically likely to come within the next 1 or 2 decades, which is recent enough enough to make his presidency memorable in people's minds when he passes on. It also will be really interesting to see how different news outlets report on his death. Next up, regardless of how or when Trump dies, it is likely that he will be buried. Coming in at number 3, we have details of a state funeral. All former presidents, the current president and the president-elect are entitled to a state funeral if they so wish, but it is up to the discretion of the family of the deceased. Knowing that President Trump enjoys a bit of fanfare, I can only assume that he would decide in advance that he would like a full state funeral, in which case he may lay in state at the Capitol Rotunda. His funeral day would likely involve a procession down Pennsylvania Avenue, with a funeral car traveling at no more than 20 miles per hour. The event would likely be televised too, and heads of state from countries around the world would attend. Coming into number 2, we have further details of his burial. Following Donald Trump's funeral, there is the question as to where he would like to be buried. 2 former presidents are buried at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia, and a further 2 at the Hollywood Cemetery in Virginia. In fact, the majority of former presidents are buried in the state of Virginia, which seems like a weird coincidence. However, it seems that Donald Trump has set his sights on a burial plot near one of his golf courses in New Jersey. Finally, at number 1 of the top 10 things that will happen when Donald Trump dies, he will become a chapter in history. For better or for worse, Donald Trump has played a vital role in history. His significance will only be truly known in hindsight. Trump's death date will be an important date for the history books that American students will learn for decades or more to come. So guys, there we have it. That was the top 10 things that will happen when Donald Trump dies. Obviously, it is a lot less clear-cut than the things that will happen when Queen Elizabeth dies, because she's always in office until her dying day. I hope you guys found this list interesting. Let me know if I've missed anything out, and also let me know what you thought to this list in the comments section down below. For now, thank you guys for tuning into this video. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate. Please do make sure you give it a good thumbs up, share it with a friend, and stay subscribed for more most amazing lists. Bye!